Hey guys, the Explorer of Horror here, the Horror Boy. Welcome back to some more reviews, and of course, welcome back to the Fly reviews. Getting near the end now. I've only got two more reviews left in the series, and honestly, it's been a lot more fun than I thought it would be because I was kind of like, I've never seen any other Fly movie besides this one that we're discussing today. I had never seen another Fly movie before, so I was like, we'll see. But it was fun, I loved the first movie, the original. The second one wasn't too bad. The third one I liked a little bit more. Pretty good movie. And these last two, well, this one I haven't seen yet. I've never seen this movie. So I'm getting to watch it high definition for the first time tonight. So that review will be up later. So yeah, very excited to check this one out. But today's review is going to be on, in my opinion, probably my favorite Cronenberg. This or Scanners. Like, it's this and Scanners are like my top two favorite. I mean, obviously I love Videodrome, and I also really love The Brood as well. But I'd say this and Scanners like my top two favorite Cronenberg movies, and just one of the best films out there. Like, really even out. Like, this is one of those horror films that I think goes out of the horror genre and just being one of the best movies out there. David Cronenberg's The Fly, starring Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis. Now, The Fly, believe it or not, I did a review on it a while ago, like years ago, but the review's quality is pretty bad. But this is a 1986 film, gets a 7.69 rated by, of course, like I said, David Cronenberg. And I mean, 1986, that was such a great year for movies. A lot of big hits came out that year. Fantastic year for movies. And the fact that you had Mel Brooks involved with this movie, like, producing it, I don't think he wrote it. I think it says Charles Edward Pogue wrote the screenplay. But I know he was a really big hand in getting this whole project together. And he really wanted to make this movie. And, it's just always funny that Mel Brooks, I think about comedies, and he was a big producer behind this movie. I mean, he's the reason why this movie happened. And just always funny to think about that. And I know he's really proud of the movie. I watched at least most of the features. Like, there's literally hours of features on here. The documentary, I think there's a documentary on here. Yeah, there's a 3-part documentary. There's interviews. There's looks like 2 commentaries here. Behind the scenes or deleted scenes, alternate ending, promotional featurettes. Just honestly, a lot of features. But I did watch most of the interviews in the documentary. And a lot of the people involved in this movie are very proud of it. And for good reason. I mean, this movie, to me, is just one of my favorite movies of all time. The Fly is. And I think the reason why it is because it's an excellent example of, once again, how to do a horror movie the smart way. How to do it the right way. And how to really show your audience this emotional roller coaster story. Filled with, comedy elements, filled with suspense, filled with bits of gore here and there, body horror, filled with drama, filled with the romantic side of the story, the love story, filled with character development. I think character development in this movie is probably one of the best examples out there. The way they interact, their dialogue, the way they have chemistry. I mean, Gina Davis and Jeff Goldblum, I believe they were really dating at this time. So the chemistry they have there is very real. It's probably because they were really dating at that time. So it really, you believe in this relationship and you feel horrible. You feel terrible and very sorry for Seth Brundle, who is Jeff Goldblum's character. You feel so bad for this character that he goes through this metamorphosis, that he goes through this hell. His ear is falling off, his fingernails, his teeth. And you feel so bad for this dude. And the emotion of the story, I thought, was just so nailed. And, I mean, really, this movie, it nails everything to me. This is one of those perfect movies that I can look at and go, yeah, that movie is an hour and a half, so it's a really good pace. It's got fantastic special effects. Like, when people always tell me CGI is the way to go, I go, look at the 80s, man. Look at The Thing. Look at RoboCop. Look at The Terminator. Look at The Fly. Obviously, there are some effects in those movies that have showed their age, but most of the effects, especially in this movie, there's not really an effect that I look at and I go, yeah, it's like a puppet, or yeah, it's like a, it looks like a robot type thing. No, it looks real. The Thing, to me, The Thing, there's like one shot in that movie where it looks, whether you could say it's the stop motion or whether you could say it's the windows when he gets held up, it's like, oh, it's just a dummy. But the effects in in this movie, in the Blob remake, and the Fly obviously the Fly remake, the Thing remake, I would say, I was gonna say Brain Dead, but it's also known as Dead Alive. But Dead Alive was a '90s movie. Evil Dead 2. You look at these movies and you just go, wow, look at all these special effects they did with very little CGI, or no CGI, because it really wasn't CGI back then. So, the effects in this movie, I mean, we'll get into all that in a second. The story is very classic, very simple. Seth Brundle is a scientist. He has invented something that will change the world as we know it. And he has a magic word for Gina Davis: cheeseburger. And he meets Gina Davis. They fall in love. And basically he shows her this teleportation device. And she's trying to get rid of her old relationship, which is John Gett's character. He's pretty much the asshole of the movie. Does a great job playing that. But I love in this movie how, even though he is the asshole, he's a character that doesn't push things too hard. Where she's like, I need you to leave me alone. I'm trying to date somebody else, and she's trying to get him away from her. And eventually he does back down. He's not pushing it. He's like, oh, I'm gonna follow you to the end, and I'm always gonna be obsessed over you. Eventually, she literally goes up to him and she's like, yeah, I need you to leave me alone, leave Seth alone, leave us alone, and whatever. And he goes, fine. But he actually goes, what about sex? Just stress relieving sex. But yeah, I like how his character kind of has. He's a very flawed character, but you can see bits of humanity in there, where he knows when to back down. He's an asshole, but to a degree. And I like how Cronenberg did that, because whether it's the script, whether it's Cronenberg, I liked how he did that. Or I liked how that character was done. I don't know if it was just the writing, Cronenberg, I'm going to say both. Just saying that aspect of that character was nailed. And I like how it made it realistic. These characters are very realistic, and their conversations are very interesting, and the dialogue I thought was on point. But like I said, you have her old boyfriend kind of giving her trouble, trying to leak this story about the teleportation device. Seth gets drunk, gets upset, thinks that Gina Davis is going out to cheat on him, when in reality she's trying to, end her old relationship. I believe she says, I have some old residue that I gotta scrape up the bottom of my shoe. And he's like, oh, probably an old boyfriend. And I like how he has a baboon just sitting there as he's ranting, and the baboon has this like fly, and it's a silly scene. And he's like, I'm sorry I killed your brother. Because a baboon earlier gets used in an experiment and it fails because he can teleport inanimate objects, but he can't teleport anything living. Just doesn't translate very well. It doesn't go to the other pod all the way through. It usually ends up being a failed experiment. But he's drunk. He's not thinking clearly, so he gets in the teleportation pod, and a fly's in there. Teleports him, And unlike the original movie where it's the head and the arm, it's the fly, he comes out looking very normal. And the movie's more about the metamorphosis into the fly, where Seth Brundle and the fly have become one, Brundlefly. And it's that build-up to the end of the movie that I thought was just very depressing, very sad, very tragic, but also very suspenseful, filled with dread. And Gina Davis is pregnant. You're not sure if she has, a fly creature or if it's just a normal baby. You don't know. So that's very suspenseful. And of course, that would lead into part 2. Seth Brundle, he's getting farther and farther mentally away from humanity. Have you ever heard of insect politics? Me neither. It's because they don't exist. I'm saying if you stay long, or if you stay here, I might hurt you. That scene was just so well, and that's just a heartbreaking scene because even though Seth Brundle's still there, he knows eventually he won't be. So he tells her to go away, tells her to leave him alone, don't come back here, because I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be here. That scene was well done. And the scene where they're talking about, Gina Davis talking about the abortion, they go to the clinic, Seth Brundle pops up and says, don't get rid of the baby. That's the last bit of me in there, whatever he says. And, don't do this, And she's like, what am I supposed to do? Just the whole drama of that situation. Just putting yourself in these people's shoes. It's a very tragic situation, and it's a horrible situation. It makes for a really tragic story, and it works because the characters are so well written and acted. Jeff Goldblum nails his character. Gina Davis nails his character. John Getz nails his character. When you have all these people, and they're pretty much your leads, they are pretty much the 3 main characters of this movie. And I love that about this movie because it's so different. Usually with a big budget like this, and there's all these effects, there's a big cast, just 3 main people. 3 main people. And it's their story. And the metamorphosis scenes, the makeup effects, you have where he can't really walk very well, he can't eat like he used to, so he even does a presentation. He's like, I can't eat like I used to, so this is how I eat now, and he pretty much vomits all over his food, and he's like, that's disgusting. Or she shows John Getz a tape of Seth Brundle eating food, and John Getz' reaction is just like, oh my god. Just his reaction was... And I like that because if you add a little bit of humor in there, it kind of breaks the tension for a minute to where it's not as dark and depressing. It kind of lightens the mood a little bit. So I like how it's that good balance between not being tremendously dark, depressing, to where the end of this movie comes around and you're like, oh my god, I gotta watch a comedy now. But, I like how the end of the movie comes, and it's very, very emotional because the Brundlefly creature, that effect, how he breaks out of his old human shell, and you even see the eyeballs just turn to goop, everything turns to goop and slime, and oh my god, dude, that effect is just beautiful. That effect and that scene on that practical creature is absolutely beautiful, and it is just one of the best creatures designs, and also one of the best effects in 80s horror, in my opinion. Just the way it maneuvers and looks, it looks real. Like The Thing, there are certain times in that movie where it looks real. And that ending was just so emotional because John Getz tries to help out Gina Davis, gets like acid all over his leg and his hand. Good gore effect there. But this is where he shows his humanity a little bit. Grabs the shotgun, shoots teleportation pods so that Seth Brundle doesn't, or the Brundlefly doesn't send her to the teleportation device. Gets her out of there. She grabs the shotgun and goes over to the Brundlefly creature. And there's that little piece of humanity still in this creature, where she has the gun, the music's playing, and it's just like so emotional. It's one of the best scenes of all time, where she has the shotgun and she can't do it. She can't kill this creature because she knows that somewhere in there is Seth. And I love this. This is such genius to me, where the gun is lowered, but it grabs the gun and puts it back to its head and kind of just waits for her to pull the trigger. That scene, what more can I say? And first of all, if you have not seen The Fly yet and you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch The Fly. Go watch The Thing, go watch The Blob, The Stuff, all the movies from the 80s, pretty much. But yeah, go watch it if you haven't seen it yet. But that scene is just one of the best scenes. It's so emotional. And it's perfectly timed, because if it's too long, you go, well, come on, lady, why aren't you shooting this thing? But if it's too quick, it's like, wow, she killed it so fast. It was the perfect way. It's such a hard way to handle that ending, but it's perfect. The ending to this movie is how you do a perfect ending. Because she shoots, it's dead, she's crying, music hits, movie's over. It's just like the perfect way to end the movie. That's how you end the film. That's how you end the story. And I mean, what more can I say about The Fly that hasn't been said? I mean, it's one of Cronenberg's best movies, one of the best movies out there. Great acting by Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis and John Getz. You have a great cast of characters here. You have wonderful music here that I thought was absolutely wonderful. I love the music by Howard Shore. The main theme song I thought was just really good. The effects are top notch. Some of the best effects of 80s horror, or just some of the best effects. Some of the best effects, and from the 80s. The direction by David Cronenberg was absolutely amazing, and he has some amazing shots in there, and the way the camera techniques are, and just how everything's directed is very well done. It's written very well. It's just one of those examples of a 10 out of 10 film for me. A great movie, classic film, masterpiece is The Fly remake. It's definitely my favorite of the Fly movies so far. It's just a masterpiece. It's one of those very few examples. And I love the original The Fly, but this is an example. This is how you do a fucking remake. Okay, remakes now? Okay, shitty-ass remakes today? This is how you fucking do a remake. The Thing is how you do a remake. Take notes. But, yeah. The Fly, 10 out of 10 for me. Perfect film. If you've seen The Fly, definitely let me know your guys' thoughts on this film in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching the review. I really appreciate all the support on these videos, and I hope you guys have some fun watching them. But anyways, I'll be seeing you guys a little bit later for the final review of the Fly series, The Fly 2. Like father, like son. Yeah, The Fly 2. Never seen it. I'll check it out tonight, and I'll do a review later. Hope y'all enjoy that. But anyways, guys, I'll be seeing y'all later. Thanks for watching the review. Explorer 4 is out. Have a good night. Peace!